As most of you guys know, as of late, there have been lots of new rumors and leaks going around the community for LEGO Star Wars 2026 sets, and it's been over a month at this point since the last time I made a 2026 leak video, and obviously, new information has come out since then that I have not had a chance to talk about yet. So in this video, I'm just going to try to clear things up for everybody and go through everything we know about LEGO Star Wars in 2026 so far. Now, as always, a lot of the fine details in this information are subject to change, and if they do, I'll of course make an updated video on this, but for now, this is everything we know so far. And starting off with January, there are 9 sets releasing in, well, just about over 2 months from now actually, and the first one is going to be a polybag, that being 30727 Darth Vader's TIE Advanced with 68 pieces, and I assume a retail price of $5 or $6. I personally am one that doesn't really care about polybags, and this polybag will most likely be given out in May with the UCS set anyway, but hey, if you are someone that cares about them, there's a Darth Vader's TIE Advanced releasing on January 1st. Moving on though, next up we have an interesting one, that being 75436 Mandalorian and Grogu speeder bike with 58 pieces and a retail price of $10 US. And this set, as of now, is said to include the UCS Razor Crest Mando figure, which is a version of the Mandalorian that has been exclusive to that Razor Crest since it released, and it looks like next year in 2026 we're going to get it in a $10 set. But that's not the reason I said it's interesting. The reason I said it's interesting is because it's a $10 set that's not a mech or a microfighter or a polybag. I mean, I think it's been over 10 years since the last time LEGO released a sub $20 set that wasn't a microfighter or a mech or a battle pack or any of those type of sets. So that's why I say it's interesting, is because we're just getting a $10 standalone set, which LEGO does not do anymore. But hey, maybe this set is going to change that. Maybe in the future we're going to start getting cheap standalone Star Wars sets that aren't part of some other subline. But as for the set itself goes, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the same type of speeder that was in that Trouble on Tatooine set from like 2019, I think. Basically just the scene where the Mandalorian first discovers Grogu. So the actual substance in the set itself, besides the UCS Mando figure, isn't very exciting. It's just the concept of a sub $20 set that's not a battle pack or microfighter or mech that's exciting. Moving on though, next up we actually have a Book of Boba Fett set, that being 75437 Cobb Vanth Speeder with 207 pieces and a retail price of $30 US, and it's going to include Cobb Vanth as well as Cad Bane. And the headpiece of the new Cad Bane figure has actually leaked already. I can't show it in this video, but if you want to go look for it, it is out there. Regardless though, I'm actually excited for this one just because I'm excited to get a Cobb Vanth figure, and I'm also excited to get a new Book of Boba Fett version of Cad Bane and just Cad Bane in general. The last one they made was in the Justifier in 2022, which was kind of a crappy expensive set, so getting one for $30 is gonna be really nice. Moving on though, next up we have 75440, a midi scale AT-AT with 525 pieces and a retail price of $65 US, and I'm actually really excited for this one because it appears that LEGO is gonna start experimenting with making midi scale sets ground vehicles and not just starships, and I think an AT-AT is the perfect one to start with. I would also love to see a turbo tank and maybe an AT-TE, and as for the size of this thing goes, I'm not really sure. It might be close to the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than the gingerbread AT-AT that just released, or actually I've even seen some rumors say that it might be some type of diorama set with like a snow base or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, I'm still very excited for this one. And continuing on with midi scale sets, next up we have one that people have been wanting for a long time, that being 75441, a midi scale Venator with 643 pieces and a pretty hefty price tag of $80 US. And like I said, this is one people have been wanting for a long time, ever since the Invisible Hand release back in 2024, because they're two very iconic prequel ships that are made to be paired together, and it looks like in January 2026 we're finally going to be able to do that. However, unsurprisingly, I'm very skeptical of that $80 price tag. This set is most likely not going to feel like $80, it'll probably feel more like a $60 or $70 set, but you know, like always, LEGO's going to be scummy and upcharge. Regardless though, I'm excited for it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. Moving on, next up we have a 4+ set, that being 75443 Grogu's Homestead with 107 pieces and a retail price of $20 US, and as of now we don't really know what the set is going to be, but at the same time it's a 4+ set, so who really cares. Up next we have 75448, a clone shock trooper mech with 151 pieces and a retail price of $15, and to put it bluntly, this is kind of a pointless set. I don't see a need for this one to be made. Clone shock troopers are already very readily available figures. I mean, they're stupid cheap because they're in the battle pack, and I'm pretty sure they're also in a poly bag, so it's not like this is a hard figure to get your hands on. And then also, mechs themselves are not the most popular within the community. I'm pretty sure most people like microfighters better, so the idea of a shock trooper mech is just very pointless in my head. I mean, it's taking up the spot for what could be another cool Jedi Starfighter microfighter or something. Moving on though, next up we have one that should be a bit more exciting, that being 75449, a Siege of Mandalore battle pack with 116 pieces and a retail price of $23 US, including 2 332nd Troopers and 2 Mandalorian Super Commandos, which are the Darth Maul Mandalorians. And to be honest, the 332nd Troopers are just take it or leave it for me, and I think they are for a lot of other people as well, just because because after that 2023 battle pack, they're just not very exciting figures anymore. However, the Mandalorian Super Commandos I am very excited for because I'm pretty sure the last time LEGO made them was all the way back in 2013, so it's obviously going to be great to see new updated versions of them. And as for the price goes of it being $23 instead of $20, it unfortunately appears that ever since LEGO raised the price of that Night Trooper battle pack from $20 to $23, they're not going back, which really isn't a surprise to anyone, but it still sucks. $20 being the standard for battle packs was already too high, but now they're going to be $23. Moving on though, lastly for January, we have one that's not so exciting, that being 75452, a buildable BB-8 with 569 pieces and a retail price of $90 US. And we might already actually know what this set is kind of going to look like, because in season 2 of Rebuild the Galaxy, there were some weird BB-8 B-Wing type ships or whatever. And as you can see there in the background, there's clearly a new buildable BB-8 design that's used as part of the ship, and people are speculating that this is what this January set is going to look like. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, for $90, that looks pretty pathetic, but at the same time, it's not like I'm really going to care about this set anyways. Now, moving on to March of 2026, this is where things are unfortunately going to start to go downhill. There are a total of 8 sets releasing on March 1st of next year, which is one of the biggest March waves LEGO has had in a long time for Star Wars. And right now, we only currently know 2 of the sets. And the first one you've probably actually already seen a picture of, that being 75423 Luke Skywalker's X-Wing with 584 pieces and a retail price of $90 US. And the reason this set is going to have an atrocious retail price of $90 US is because it's supposed to include the new LEGO Smart Brick, which basically is some new special piece that can light up and has sounds, and I'm pretty sure there's also an app for it so you can connect it to a phone or a tablet or something, kind of like that Droid Commander set from 2019, I think, if any of you guys remember that. Basically, it's just going to be LEGO's new gimmick and excuse to overcharge for sets. And like I briefly mentioned, a picture of this X-Wing has actually leaked already. I can't show it in this video because it'd give me a copyright strike, but a few days ago I did have it up on my community tab for a few hours, so you might have saw it then. But basically, it looks like trash. It looks like a 4+ set, and somebody actually made a sketch of what it looks like, and here it is. I mean, this sketch right here is pretty much exactly what it looks like in that leaked picture. I mean, it's freaking buns, dude. And because of that new Smart Brick, it's gonna retail for $90. And then the second March set that we know of is going to be 75421 Darth Vader's TIE Advanced with 473 pieces and a retail price of $70. And just like the X-Wing, this one is also said to include the new Smart Brick. So again, just another overpriced set that's probably gonna look like crap. However, unfortunately, that's not where it stops. From there, it continues to get worse, because remember how I said there are 8 sets releasing on March 1st? Well, from what I'm currently hearing, this is subject to change, but the current rumor right now is that every single one of those sets, not just the TIE Fighter and X-Wing, are going to either include a Smart Brick or be compatible with another Smart Brick set. So pretty much there's a rumor that all 8 of these sets are going to be ugly and overpriced, just like that X-Wing and the TIE Advanced. I really hope that's not true. I really hope 1 or 2 of these sets are just a normal one-off set that doesn't have anything to do with the Smart Brick, but that's what the current rumor is. And then I mean, by looking at some of these prices and piece counts, 347 pieces for $50, 962 pieces for $160, that's almost as bad as the Turbo Tank. It really does seem like there actually might be some truth to that rumor. Again, this is subject to change, and I really hope it does change and end up not being true, but as of now, there's a chance that every single one of these sets in this March 1st wave are all going to have something to do with the new LEGO Smart Brick. Anyways though, now moving on to May of 2026, as of now we know of 9 sets that are releasing on May 1st, and so far we only know the identities of 2 of them. However, we do have a pretty good idea of what the other ones are going to be as well, but as for the 2 that we do know, they're going to be 75438 a Yoda bust for $50 and 75439 a Darth Vader bust for $60. And I don't really have much to say about these 2. I'm not very surprised that Star Wars is doing busts now since Marvel just started doing them, and I guess Yoda and Darth Vader are the best 2 options to start with. And like everyone else, I really hope this opens the door for more characters in the future, specifically General Grievous. I'm pretty sure that's what everybody wants. Now, as for the other sets in May, currently it's not confirmed what any of these sets are going to be. However, we do know that 3 of them are going to be based off the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and it's not confirmed. However, we're almost certain what these bottom 2 are going to be right here. Set number 75446 with 1,200 pieces and a retail price of $130 is most likely going to be a new Playscale Razor Crest based off the movie, and 75447 with 930 pieces and a retail price of $150 is most likely going to be a new Playscale AT-AT based off the movie, or vice versa, because as you can see here, the cheaper one has more pieces, so maybe that's the AT-AT. But either way, it's a very good educated guess that we're going to get a Playscale Razor Crest and a Playscale AT-AT next year, and these 2 sets right here are most likely what those are. But other than those 2 sets and the 2 busts I mentioned, that's all we know for May so far. We don't know the UCS set yet, or GWP or anything like that, just these 4 sets, which is expected. I mean, it is very early. But then continuing on, we actually have have some set numbers for June and July already. The 2 June sets are also both going to be from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, the first one being set number 75460 and the second one being set number 75461, and then the 1 July set is going to be set number 75459, and it's going to have an age rating of 14 plus, which I find that age rating to actually be kind of interesting because that's like borderline a UCS set. Back in the mid 2010s, before they started making all the UCS sets 18 plus, some of them did actually used to be 14 plus and 12 plus, so it really does make me wonder what the set is going to be because it has the age rating of like more than a playset but also a little less than a UCS set. So I don't know, that's just some food for thought, I guess. And then lastly, we have 2 miscellaneous sets that are more so just rumors right now. These are definitely not confirmed and could end up being true or end up being false. And the first one is actually a new Final Duel playset like they made in 2015 and 2020. There's currently a rumor that we're basically going to get this set again next year in 2026, so do with that information as you please. But then the next one is the more interesting one, and that's that there's actually currently a rumor that we're going to get a UCS Super Star Destroyer next year. And you guys have probably already heard of this because it's being talked about quite a bit right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm taking this one with a huge grain of salt. And the main reason for that is obviously because it's October, it's really early to be getting leaks like this, but also because a new UCS Super Star Destroyer is obviously going to be a $700 or $800 set. And usually, as we all know, LEGO releases the big UCS sets like that in October, and they say the smaller $200 UCS sets for May. And that's why I'm taking this with a grain of salt and borderline just not believing it, because if LEGO is actually releasing a new UCS Super Star Destroyer next year, it's definitely not releasing in May, so that means it would be releasing in October, which is literally a whole entire year away from now. Again, it's very early to be getting information like this. So I think this set is either straight up just a false rumor, or LEGO might actually switch up how they do things and release a big expensive UCS set like this in May instead of October. Anyways though, that is all we know about LEGO Star Wars in 2026 so far. As always, if any of this information changes or when there's more updates, of course I will make new videos about it, but as of now, this is all we have. So let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more videos, you see on the screen right now.